Silver Hijinks, a podcast where we're talking about everything pop culture, especially the awards season. Today, I'm here with one of my best friends, Finnia. How are you doing, Finny?
Hello. Hello. I'm doing really good. How are you?
Well, I'm doing great. Kind of nervous, but
Same, same. But you know what? We're gonna get through this together.
yeah, like how we've been for these last few years.
We've the last 5 years we've gone through so much. I don't think a 20-minute podcast can hurt
I
us.
don't, I don't, yeah, I think we're invincible now. We've been through more horrors than a lot of the soldiers that have been out there in wars. But
Maybe that's a bit extreme, but we've
well,
we've done some stuff.
let me stay quiet about that one. So, I know that we've watched some award seasons this year with
We
Vivian, who
have.
couldn't make it today, but.
We have, and I have to admit, those were some of the highlights of my year so far, especially the
Oh,
commentary that we made.
do you remember when I watched The Devil Wears Prada? Had you guys on FaceTime the whole entire afternoon, and then what was it, the Golden Globes or something like that?
I think it was the Globes, yeah.
And then we ended up watching the live stream. Mind you, Finny is all the way in Germany. I'm over here in
So
Miami.
the time difference had me up at 4 in the morning,
Like,
just, commenting on people's dresses while I was in my pajamas drinking Diet Coke.
and the thing is, well, the Diet Coke, it's really a staple with you. We were watching the Golden Globes, and then all of a sudden, Meryl Streep appears out of nowhere, unannounced. And
I
what are
think
we, like,
that was,
four of us in the damn FaceTime call, just absolutely going ballistic
it
because
was
we didn't
mass
know.
panic. Mass panic, I would say.
Like, I just remember seeing Vivian's face. I think I have a screenshot of it somewhere, or if not, I'll ask her. But Vivian's face was just one of pure frenetic bliss.
I
And
I would agree with that.
I think you were the only one that was like, "What's going on?" And then when you looked, you just went, "Oh my fucking hell!"
I also have to admit, I think I'm the least like affected by Meryl Streep out of the four of us. But I
Yeah,
still was on I jumped from my bed when I saw her because that was such a crazy moment, and the atmosphere, like the vibe and the call just
no,
skyrocketed.
five
It was so
5 minutes
wild.
before the damn award show.
Yeah, the ones who are
Like,
always good, they come late.
and then Taylor Swift appeared in the very last minute. I think she kind of forgot she had a nomination, but.
I mean, yeah, that should have had me on the edge of my seat, but it was kind of underwhelming, if I have to admit that.
Yeah.
Um,
And the funny thing is that you kept on saying on the FaceTime call, text me when Taylor Swift appears because I know that you're a big Swiftie.
yeah, and
And all of a
I did.
sudden, she appeared. You screamed for 1 minute and then you said, okay, that's enough, and then retired for the rest of the night.
True, because I feel like I am a normal Swiftie in the term of I get excited when I see her, but I can admit that the dress was sort of ugly.
It wasn't like, girly, you're going to the Golden Globes.
Exactly. It looked like it was ill-fitting, again, coming from someone also currently in my pajamas, judging someone for what they're wearing. But again, if I were to ever attend an award ceremony, I would get a dress that fits.
Girl, I would pull a Sandra Hüller in the Oscars. This
The
girl pulled
costume.
up with quite the fucking dress.
It was. And the behind the scenes videos that then surfaced on Twitter of like someone having to lace her into this, it
Yeah.
made a few people go into gay panic.
Oh. Oh, it made me lose my mind for a couple of days. Like, and you know it because you follow me on Twitter. Like, that
I
was
do.
crazy. That was
It
crazy.
was. But
I you
Twitter
know
is the place to be during exam season. Okay, maybe that too if you really are a procrastinator like me. But award season and Twitter is something that just goes hand in hand because you can't get the inside scoop anywhere else except Twitter.
yeah, and like the people on Twitter just there's a sort of like mental disconnect that goes on with everyone,
I
and
believe so, yeah.
I think it's the most beautiful thing on earth.
It is, and I remember on Oscar night, I had a hit tweet, just saying that, in parentheses, um, about Jessica Lange. So the amount of people who at 2 in the morning go crazy over a woman in her mid-70s leaving her house for the first time in months, that is something that can only happen on Twitter. And
Well,
that is so beautiful.
even Sarandon herself lost her mind. And
Oh,
she
I
is
bet she
known to
did.
post some questionable tweets about her and Jessica Lange.
What do you think it's a joke, but is it a joke? You'll never know.
Do I think it's a joke? I like to live a delusional life, at least when it comes to other people's relationships. So no,
Same.
I don't think it's a joke.
I don't think it's a joke either. I think she's been open about it for as long as she could have been open about it, and people just decided to take it as a joke when I don't think she is that much of a joker, at least on social media.
Do you remember like 2 years ago when people just started seeing them all over New York, like just going out to restaurants and stuff like that? And I was like,
Yeah.
huh? And then it's just Susan Sarandon just going like, oh hey, and I'm like, girl,
Yeah, I think she was maybe the discourse about it online was so, oh, they're just friends. And then she saw those tweets because she's an active person on Twitter. And I like to think that she was a bit offended by that because, she's been public about them maybe dating. So
yeah,
people going like, oh, they're just friends.
if there's one
I
thing
think
I have to,
possibilities are endless.
oh, if she can dream it, she can be it. Like, hello,
Exactly.
she better never forget her Rocky Horror Show beginnings.
I haven't seen that. I have not seen
What?
that movie.
I can't believe you're telling me this now during the podcast.
Where else? I'm announcing
Oh
it to
my,
everyone. I have
oh
not seen that
my.
movie.
Finny,
I
so
know, I'm missing
do you
out.
know what happened? Do you remember the host for the Golden Globes, right? If I'm remembering correctly.
I do, and I would
The Joe Coy.
prefer if I didn't. I would prefer if I didn't, because
That
that man,
was deserves deserves to be fired in more
it's a
ways
big
than
oof.
one.
But
Like,
I think that is one of the biggest problems of award shows in general is the host. And it's
yeah,
not just the Globes, it's not just the Oscars, it's every single award show, whether it's movies or music.
yeah.
You want to watch it for the artist, for the talent, and not for some guy who I've never heard of. And I'm going to publicly say that 90% of the people in this award room have not ever heard of the man on stage.
Yeah.
And you don't want to sit there, whether you're in the room physically or at home in bed, and you watch it, and you don't want to sit there and listen to a man make misogynistic, outdated, and stupid jokes for 45 minutes. You don't want to do that.
Mama, it was even more.
Yeah, but
It was
I
the
mean,
f-
if you cut
well,
it
I
out and put
mean,
it together in
yeah,
one, just his scenes, it's
yeah.
45 minutes ish. But I'm just saying, even 1 minute is too long because
Like
I can't stand that.
I I just remember Margot Robbie's face when he just
Yeah.
started doing jokes about her and she just looked at him like, "Is that all you really got?"
Yeah, because I always think there are so many talented comedians who
Mhm.
deserve to be on that stage where
Yeah,
they could have written better jokes because these jokes are so forced every single time. None of them are actually funny. And you know that there is
exactly.
talent all over this place. I mean, it's Hollywood. Where else can you find a talent? There are
It's
so many people who could have done it so much better, and you go for the same boring, unfunny white guy every single
yeah.
time.
Do you remember a couple of years ago when Amy Poehler and Tina Fey did them?
I do. And
That was a
I must
good
say that was maybe
show.
one of the best award shows I've ever watched. And the first person who came to mind for me was maybe Kate McKinnon, because she has
Mm-hmm.
such a unique sense of humor that every person laughs at. And maybe get someone like that, get someone who's actually talented, who's known in the industry and by people at home watching.
And now, a moment from our sponsor. The Lydia Tarr Remembrance Foundation was created in honor of the prolific conductor Lydia Tarr. Throughout her life, Lydia Tarr inspired many creative queer women to explore their passions and follow their dreams. Lydia's light dimmed after her untimely death following a fall down the stairs at the 95th Academy Awards. The EGOT winner conducted many of the world's most renowned orchestras, including New York, Berlin, and Dresden. We remember her with love. Thank you to our sponsors. I think that in order to be a successful comedian, you need to be self-deprecating.
Yes, but also only to a certain degree. If every joke you do is self-deprecating, it gets old very quickly.
Mm-hmm. Like, and the thing is, doing jokes is not laughing at someone.
Exactly.
It's laughing with the people you're surrounded with.
Yeah, it's providing the opportunity for everyone, including the person who's at the center of the joke, to laugh at
Mm-hmm.
themselves, but with
Mm-hmm.
themselves. You're not
Mm-hmm.
trying to make a fool out of someone by saying something stupid, because that is
Exactly.
where
And
the line is so thin sometimes and people cross it so easily. But
yeah.
it's so bad.
And I think before we started the podcast, we were talking about like the differences between like American and European to generalize humor.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
like American humor, everyone, I guess in the American psyche, everybody just gets so insulted by
Oh
little
yeah.
things that really don't matter. And then over there in Europe, like I talk to you guys, and you guys like a very very dark joke of like, not like you're not hurting anyone, but you're just like
Exactly.
mentioning something where it wouldn't pass here because maybe you're taking a jab at someone, but you're not laughing at them. And like we still
Exactly.
enjoy the joke and everything, but we know that we're not insulting. And yet over here, like Joe Coy just went, fuck all of you. And then the next day they interviewed him on the Today Show and he was like, I didn't know I hurt people. Like, come
Yeah,
on,
and I
man.
mean, of course, some people aim for the I'm gonna hurt someone part, but if you do that, you have to stick to it. You have to be confident about it and you have to admit it afterwards, because then, even if you maybe receive some backlash for a joke you made, if you stick by it and you're like, well, it was my intention and I think it
Yeah,
worked perfectly,
I
then people can
I
turn
can't.
to your side and be like, you know what, actually, you did a really good job with that one. And
Hmm.
of course, the person who was at the center of the joke was maybe offended, but most people laughed. And
Exactly. It's quite
if that
literally
happens, you
Tommy
can stick to
Wiseau.
it.
You
Yeah,
literally have to be like Tommy Wiseau in the room whenever like you're trying to do like a really really bad joke and you know that it's not gonna land, but you want to be delusional enough to believe that it's gonna land. You need to be like this guy and then just be like, yeah, that's what I meant. Even if it's a fucking front for like what, money laundering, you still gotta own up to it. And this guy just didn't do shit. So
yeah, I don't know. It's
it was just,
it's such a complicated thing, and I think we could talk about this for hours
yeah.
of
Well, I
how
think
so much stuff is
both
wasted.
of us should have deserved the job more than Joe Coy.
Oh yeah, I agree.
But am I delusional? Yes, but am I also funny? Yeah. So,
Am I incredibly
and like,
funny? Sometimes. Am I
oh, you
also
are.
slightly mean? Very much so. So I think that could be it's a good combo, and I think they should get us.
Yeah, I think they should bring Vivian, you, and me on the stage. And it's either gonna end with a fire in the theater, one of us being pulled out of the venue like Greta Hedeg in Greta.
I,
That's most probably gonna be me.
you're going to be asked
Um,
to leave, actually, halfway
Asked to
through
leave,
the
and then I'll
thing.
start screaming in Hungarian.
They're going to pull out the straitjacket immediately.
Mm-hmm. And it's only because I didn't want the Chablis.
You want the good one. You want the white wine.
No, God, can you believe that's my comfort movie? A movie with a goddamn psychopath.
If we're going to talk about concert movies, why don't we talk about the 2022 masterpiece that is Tar, starring Kate Blanchett, who was also nominated for an
Mm-hmm.
Oscar for this role.
And Nina Haas. How dare you
Nina
forget?
Haas. As a German, Nina Haas, period. That's what I'm going to have to say to that.
Like she is the national German treasure. I'm
She
sorry.
is. She is.
The
And I'm
greatest expert, the greatest export from the land that used to be the Holy Roman Empire.
I
Greatest
thought
one.
you were going to say something else.
What do you think I was gonna say?
I'm not going to say that out loud. What do you?
Okay, well, text me
Oh,
later. Oh, I know where your head went. Okay, it didn't take me that long to figure it out.
well, well. But I think, in all seriousness, not giving Nina Hoss the Oscar nomination for Best Supporting Actress
They
was
didn't give her
maybe
any
one of the
nomination.
greatest snubs. It
They
was
didn't give her
so
any
bad.
nomination. And the thing is, in order to understand, I also agree with you that like Tar, it should have won the Best Picture nomination from last year.
It definitely should have,
But
yeah.
like I understand that Everything Everywhere All at Once was also an outstanding movie. But you do have to compare them given the fact
Yeah,
that one of them talks about workplace abuse, abuse of power. It doesn't shy away from showing LGBTQIA people engaging in negative actions, which is something that almost everyone is afraid to show.
I agree.
And I I
100%.
I think that it's something that needs to be explored more because yes, we're grateful for the representation. Thank you for showing us lesbians, but like we're not good.
Lesbians are also just people. That is a woman. That is a
Yeah,
normal woman.
yeah,
And most women who are gay, they don't make it the whole personality. And people,
exactly.
who are LGBT, we appreciate being represented as a normal human being with flaws
Yeah,
and not someone
yeah.
who like poops rainbows and is gay all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And I think
Like
Tar did such a good job at that.
yeah, because it doesn't sanitize the type of people, any person. Like
Yeah,
Todd, like Todd Phillips really did a really good job.
he did. And
And
I also the style of I don't know how to say this properly, but the cinematography in the movie
mm-hmm,
and the way that you feel like you're a fly on the wall watching this
mm-hmm,
all go down. And
mm,
Kate Blanchett's acting, of course, is what draws you in, because you don't ever get the feel you're watching an actress be a character. You're watching this woman, Lydia Tarr, the woman, putting on the act of Lydia Tarr. You don't
right.
see an actress ever. And the style of cinematography in this helps so much because I mean you were there when the movie came out on Twitter, the
Mm-hmm,
discourse. How many
mm-hmm.
people truly believe that Lydia Tarr was a real person?
Oh
How
my
many
God.
people went
The news
crazy
articles were
for
like,
it?
"Oh, who's this Lydia Tarr?" And then a real life like Lydia Tarr profile came up. and, and
Because
then
I
like
mean that is kind of they made quote unquote the mistake of the Wikipedia page that you see in the movie, they had that exist in real life. And people found the
Yeah.
Wikipedia page, and people believed for a while that Lydia Tarr was in fact a real person.
Yeah, her
And
birthday's October 14. It's a week after mine. God bless Libras.
exactly, it's a month after mine, September 14th. Whoop.
Mm.
No, but that is, in a way, first of all, outstanding marketing because the discourse online was insane about this. And then again, she could have very, very well been a real person with
Yeah.
flaws, with relationships, with everything. And having that come out of the movie like this is
Do you want me to
insane.
say something?
Please do.
I'm gonna compare it to Maestro, to Bradley Cooper's Maestro, which Bradley Cooper, eat your heart out, bitch. Like, he
Bradley
wanted
Cooper,
so
you and
bad.
I have a problem.
Yeah. Well, I think
Yeah.
he and a lot of people, including both of us, have a lot of problems. But,
I
but
watched, I don't
he,
know if you've seen that yet. There is a video going around on TikTok and Twitter of two professional musicians reviewing
oh yeah, the
Kate
Lydia
Blanchett's
Tar. Yeah,
Lydia
I saw
Tarr
it today.
conducting, and
I saw
they
it today.
compared it to Maestro, and they were like, I don't know exactly, but Bradley Cooper stated multiple times that he trained years for this part,
Yeah.
and Kate Blanchett trained as well, but I think only a couple of months. And they said that Kate's acting, Kate's movements, her expressions, her way that she held herself up there was so real and so close to real conductor that they believed they would have been able to follow her and play the
The,
piece perfectly.
the thing
And
is,
that is crazy.
the thing is, Bradley Cooper's a character actor, a method actor. And
Yeah.
for roles like this, you do have to be really, really, really observant of
Mm.
your surroundings and everything because you are conducting an orchestra.
Yeah.
And no matter if you trained respectively for 6 years, like how Bradley Cooper did, or 3 months, like how Kate Blanchett did, you do. The thing with him is that he just got so lost, and I think very egocentrically, he got very
Absolutely.
lost in his role. And
Absolutely.
then Kate Blanchett was just like, "This is a job," and just did it.
I don't remember who said this, but I read the other day that was it Kristen Dunst? Kirsten Dunst is her name, I think. I'm so bad. She said that being a character actor is something that only men get to
Yeah,
do. Only
yeah,
men
yeah.
have the possibility to be a character actor and stay
Hmm.
in character as they always say they do. Because women don't work that way most of the time.
Hmm.
That's what I gathered. And I don't think it is normal to proclaim yourself a character actor and think it's
I
normal
don't think
to
it is.
Jared Leto on at Joker, for example. The stories I've heard about that man on this movie set of Suicide Squad, I don't think I could ever recover from that because he stayed in character and it traumatized people on set. And
Yeah,
after
because
all, it is a job.
you're
It
a
is a
human
job.
person. Exactly. Exactly. That was exactly the point I wanted to get to. Like, they interviewed Sandra Hüller in the red carpet of this year's Oscars. And they were
Mhm.
like, "Oh, how do you do the scene in Anatomy of a Fall? How do you do this scene in the point of interest? How do you do this?" And then she just goes, "It's a job."
Exactly. I read the script
I
and I play it.
like,
Um,
and it's the same thing that they asked Isabelle Huppert in the actresses roundtable, like
yeah,
in what, like 2016, and then
I think
she
yeah.
very nonchalantly Isabel just goes, "Oh yeah, I did rape scenes in L," and everybody was like, "How'd you do them? How'd you prepare for them?" And she's like, "Bitch, I read the script and I did it. Like, what do you that do you think? I know I'm not nothing's happening to me. I'm just playing the fucking role. Like,
Exactly. Exactly. It is a job. It is something that you do, and you go home after the director yells
yeah,
cut. You're like, okay, bye. I'm going home, going to sleep, going to have dinner.
yeah, yeah."
And
Also,
every other relationship with this job, I feel like is so unhealthy. in long term, like in the long term. If you look at it and you're like, oh, but I get so involved. I mean, of course, you build a relationship in the way with a character that you play for months at a time. You get to know them. You sort of sometimes start thinking the way, okay, what would they do right now? But taking them home with you
It's
for
not
weeks
good.
or months at a time is something that could, in my opinion, be so damaging to you
Hmm.
mentally in the long run. And people
And
who do
I
that
also
should
think,
be studied.
yeah. And the thing is, the person who got the role wasn't the character, wasn't the portrayal of your character. It was how you yourself, your psyche, decided to give life to that character.
Exactly.
And I think that by method acting and all that, I just don't think it's healthy at all.
Me neither. Especially, if you consider the actor, but maybe also their surroundings. They have a family, they have friends. And when you
Yeah,
have a person, again,
didn't that
bringing up
happen
Jared
on
Leto,
Succession? Didn't that happen on Succession with Jeremy Strong?
Jeremy Strong is, in my opinion, one of the most interesting people, most interesting actors we have in the moment.
And
And
why is that, Finny?
I've seen a lot of discourse about Jeremy Strong and Brian Cox actually not getting along, and they do. It's an act. They act. They are people outside of it. And when
Uh,
people start to, put characters' relationships and characters' feelings towards each other onto the actors, and they get hit with questions like, oh, do you really hate him? Oh, was it really a hostile environment while shooting?
mhm,
What do you expect them to say? Because most of the time, the answer is obviously going to be no, because
mhm.
those are people and you're not the character.
It also
And of
just
course,
feeds into the
you dive into it.
it also just feeds into the parasociality that's just going on
Oh,
now.
yeah. Oh, yeah.
Like I open like you know me. I like things on Twitter. I like a lot of actors and a lot of actresses and all that. Well, actors is only one. It's Jason Isaacs for whoever wants to know. But I'm not part of any like group or like fandom or anything because they're all so toxic because these people genuinely think that they have a right to like be close to
Yeah,
these stars and all of that. Like, mm-mm, mm-mm.
I agree. It's scary. And, the I also engage with a lot of actresses' fan discourse on Twitter. And the two actresses who have noticed this, most of all with, are Sarah Paulson and
Mm-hmm.
Paget Brewster from Criminal Minds.
And can I
Her,
add one more?
of course.
Lisa and Walter from Abbott Elementary.
Oh, yeah. That is, I think, that's a league of her own. But
You
Paget Brewster fans, I've seen so many people, girls younger than me, my age, 20, between the ages of 14 and 20, who think that Paget owes them interaction on Twitter because
Oh yeah.
she liked one of their posts. And I've seen so many rants, girls going on rants about how she does not show them enough attention. Or maybe one thing that stuck with me was one girl who said, oh, I was her girl of the week because she liked two of my tweets and then she just dropped me and moved on to someone else. Like, no,
Ah.
she didn't drop you. You were never in. You were never her girl of the week. You were a fan who texted her something or tweeted something at her that she thought was funny and she liked it. And then
What
that was
the
it.
fuck? What the
That is
fuck?
traumatizing. That is so traumatizing. And
Girl
then
of the
just imagine
week?
you're
You
an
don't
actress.
even know this bitch.
Exactly. Imagine you're an actress and you see something about yourself that you think is funny and you like it. And
I
then a
could
couple
give
of
you an
days later,
example. I could
you
give
see the
you an
same girl
example.
saying how badly you treat her because you stopped engaging with her.
Do you
What do you
remember the chilling
expect?
adventures? Do you remember the chilling adventures of Sabrina?
Obviously.
So Miranda Otto.
Obviously.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
They started asking her really, 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 really like she used to be super active on Instagram and
Oh yeah, I
constantly
know.
replying to her fans and everything. And then they started like commenting very, 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 very intrusive and sick things
Yeah.
on her accounts, and now she just doesn't even post. Like whenever she posts, it's to promote one TV show, and then she's gone for the rest of the fucking year.
And
And
you know
she
what? I get
doesn't.
it. I get it.
Yeah, and then there's Michelle Gomez who quite literally does Instagram lives, and then whenever someone asks her something crazy, she just goes, "Fuck you," and I'm like, "Yeah, yeah,
And I think she has every right to do that because
yeah."
how on earth can you confidently go into a person that you don't know? How can you go
Mm-hmm.
into their comment section and take the time out of your day to type something that is so unhinged, unhealthy, disrespectful to this person that you say you admire, and then you expect them to give you attention back and be
Yeah,
kind towards you?
yeah. It's just very, very fucking sick. It's just all really fucking sick. And I think it's like a lot of social media, but that's a conversation for another day.
Oh, yeah.
But like
So, you know what?
you
I
know,
think
like it's bad. But anyway,
it's bad.
to finish
I
up,
think I think award shows should give out awards for person who went through the most trauma by Twitter fans for a
I
role they
also
played.
think, you know what? I think they should bring in the Razzie Awards into the Oscar Awards
Oh yeah.
and
Give one to
just,
Bradley Cooper.
yeah, just give all of them
Wait,
to Bradley Cooper. What was that
Razzie is
prosthetic nose about? The
I
more I
don't
talk
know.
about him, the more I remember stuff, and the more I want to end it all.
The thing is, I had Bradley Cooper in such a positive light because I am a gigantic fan of the Hangover movies, and that was the only movie I'd ever seen that he's in. And
He's
now
in that
he
movie?
is The Hangover is maybe the best movie, and he's hot in it. I'm gonna go on record and say it. And now those movies have been ruined for me forever because every time I see this, all I can think about is this meme of him on the verge of tears after losing the award, and all of the memes going like, "Oh, he's gonna shoot
Excuse
someone,
me?
or he's gonna kill them."
Excuse, can you're gonna have to send that to me once we're done here. I don't think I ever saw those.
He's never seen The
Oh,
Hangover. That
no,
is my
no, I don't
personality
think
in a
I ever
movie.
saw. I well, now I'll have to watch it. I have to study you. But I don't think I've ever seen the meme that you're referring to.
Oh, and I'm gonna send you that because
Oh.
that is crazy.
Finny, to finish off, what was your favorite movie of last year?
Of last year. I'm gonna have to go basic and say Barbie.
You're gonna say Barbie?
I'm gonna say Barbie.
I thought you were an Oppenheimer girly.
The thing is, I have not seen Oppenheimer yet, and
Oh.
I'm ashamed to admit it. I'm very ashamed to admit it because I love Cillian Murphy, and from what I've seen, I believe he deserved the Oscar over Bradley Cooper, definitely. But
Mm-hmm.
Barbie, of course, you can say whatever you want about Barbie and the acting and the style of the
Loved
movie.
it. I loved it. I'm just more so an Oppenheimer girly.
Exactly, but I think that again, the topic that Barbie touched on, so important,
Yeah. And it's
and the
also they
influence that
made
it
it in
had, so good.
and they made it in a way that was very accessible to different age groups to interact with the movie.
Exactly. And I've seen so many people, girls on TikTok who said, I went to see it with my dad. I went to see it with my whole family or brothers. And the reaction that these men sometimes had to seeing the movie was something so beautiful. And it just created such a new level of understanding. And I feel like that is
Mm-hmm.
why
Mm-hmm.
it's a favorite of mine.
Yeah. Well, I think that's all for today. So, if you're watching, comment down below what your favorite movie or any other topics that you would want me and the next guest to touch up on. Bye, everyone. Bye, Finny.
Bye. Thank you for having me.